Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers. I am just about to button up the final part of changing out our inverter. I had planned to take you along with me, show you every step of the way, but, you know, when I was starting this, I thought, how hard can this be? I just take down the old one, undo the battery end, unplug everything in front, take down the remote start, and put up the new one. Maybe 2 hours. Well, I'm 6 hours in right now, and I'm about to finish this. But what I realized pretty early on was there was really no room for you where I was working. I worked some inside of this cabinet up here, and inside of the closet, and inside of the pass-through storage, which, trust me, you don't want to see me getting in and out of that pass-through storage. But I'm going to tell you what I did and kind of what took some time, and show you that it is installed, it is working. But I started yesterday with the remote start, and the old one, and let me just preface this by saying, our previous inverter was an Ames 2000 watt, 4000 watt peak inverter with a remote start. And the reason we decided to replace that now is, first of all, it's 6 years old. That was it put in when we first got the Winnebago. A friend of mine set up a small solar setup so that we could try it out. And folks, after doing that for about 4 years, we realized we love having a solar setup, and we wanted just to have more so that we really didn't have to run the generators. And so 2 years ago, when we changed everything out, that inverter was still working, and it was a major expense. So we said, hey, just leave the inverter, and it's still working. Well, on the last couple of trips, we had noticed that the inverter, first of all, I mean, for one thing, I don't know if you can see how warped this has gotten over the years, but this was not, the remote was not working. I know that's not a huge thing, but we had also noticed the inverter having to restart or reset several times, you know, when we would have it on for any period of time. The fans were blowing a lot harder and a lot more. And so, folks, electronics that are 6 years old, do you still use the same computer you did 6 years ago? Same cell phone? I keep electronics as long as I can, but when we are looking at some long off-grid trips, we wanted something that we felt confident would work, because, you know, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, Amazon doesn't deliver when you're in the wilderness. So, and then honestly, Prime days. So I went with a Belttt 3000 watt, 6000 watt peak, and it's actually a little smaller than the 2000 watt that we took out. Weight-wise, they were about the same, and trust me, I know I've been holding that for a while, trying to get it installed. But the reviews that I had seen and read were all positive, and so decided to go with it. So let me just kind of walk you through these remotes. The connection, I'll show you this one. It's different on these because this one is simply an on-off switch. So this is a very small, but they look kind of like telephone cords. And what I found out, my first snag was, since we had this installed, we had the major solar install. Well, inside of this, we now have more MC4 or solar cables running through there. And when we did the major install, the hole that had the remote for this, they had run the red solar panel line through, which meant that I couldn't get the head of it out. And there wasn't a good way to drill that out to make it larger because I didn't want to damage the insulation on anything that was in there, on any of those cords. And so I basically just, let me see if I can show you this. So I ended up, if you can see right here, I drilled another hole just for the remote. Okay, so this doesn't sound like it should be a whole lot. Then mounting this, I was able to use the hole, I don't know if you can kind of see right here, where the old remote start had gone through. And let me just tell you, no, this is not recessed. And I'm really thankful it wasn't, because, and the same thing, I don't know if you can see here, but our old charge controller from that first setup was right there. I'm so thankful he did not recess that, because if he had, we would have had a giant hole there. And so I just followed his lead, and I have a hard, it's up there. But getting all of this done, that was honestly about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Then I went underneath to remove the old inverter, and you wouldn't think it would be that big a deal. I mean, let's face it. What are you doing? You're releasing 4 screws so that the inverter will come down. You unplug everything. And by the way, I did turn the batteries off before I started working underneath. And we have 2 400 amp hour lithium batteries. And once I get everything out from underneath, which took a little bit of time, I did have a voltage meter, and on the back of the inverter I just checked, and it was like 4.5. And then a minute later it was 3.9. Just waited until it completely, all the power in there had dissipated. But underneath, to get to the inverter, when we had the major install, they had put a wall across. But our inverter was mounted up just under this bed. And I had thought I'd be able to just access it. Well, I could access the 2 outside screws, but the two screws were back behind where that wall comes across. It doesn't go all the way to the top. And so, in order to access those, I had to take the little wall out. That was another unplanned step. And in the process of doing all of this, there were the little star-shaped screw heads. There were Phillips head screw heads, and then there were, let's see, the star shape is the T25, and then there was an S4 square. And so I'm having to get out to go get the tools that I didn't realize I was going to need because somebody else had put this stuff in. All of this stuff took a lot of time. And getting in and out of that pass-through storage, it just took a little bit of maneuvering, and doing it as many times as I did, that took some time. But finally got all of that out, and got the old inverter out. Then to install the new inverter, I already had all of this done, run down. The mounting brackets, the slots to mount it, were about 3/4 of an inch further apart lengthwise, and about 1 inch narrower. And so I had to decide exactly how I wanted that mounted, and then holding it and trying to mark screw holes and all of this stuff. It just took some time. And once again, there was no way to show you what I was seeing and me see it. And folks, we're 6 hours in on this, and I reached the point of, I'm just gonna do it and then tell you what I did. But finally got it mounted, and once I got it mounted, then installed the battery cables. I did use I know that because the batteries are off, I really didn't need this, but I also didn't want a major spark. and the batteries had been off for like 12 hours. So I know everything was completely dead, but I still used this whenever I was connecting power to the inverter, or not power, but the batteries to the inverters. Once I got it mounted, connected the battery cables, got the other things plugged in the front, and ours is not hardwired. Thought about doing it, but we had used it fine for the last 2.5 years with this update, with it being plugged in, and so I went with that. And then came in and tested everything, tested the microwave, let it run for, there's nothing in it, so I only let it run for like 30 seconds. It did fine. Did the coffee pot, you know, made sure that these things are working, then got back underneath, put the wall back in place, and it's now working. And so, time will tell how, like I said, all of the reviews that I saw about the Belttt were good. I'll be honest with you, we're going to carry the old inverter with us for our next trip. It's going to be about a 3-week long trip where we're boondocking the whole time. And after that 3 weeks of using this on a daily basis, then I'll feel more confident, leave the old one at home. But until that happens, I'm going to carry the other one with me just to make sure. I'm sorry that there wasn't more hands-on with this video, but we do like to keep you up to date as to what we have, what we're using, and how it works. So, after we've had a chance to actually use this, we'll let you know how it's doing. And as always, thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.